الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
أبو حمزة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. Inshallah, we allow any different tradition of takbir, inshallah, because I think most of them are, inshallah, recorded in the Sunnah, inshallah azza wa jalla. So any Iraqi tradition or Egyptian or Bengali, everything is welcome, inshallah azza wa jalla.
جزاكم الله خير. The only problem with Zoom is that you cannot takbir أكثر than not more than one person. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله والله أكبر. الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. إبراهيم بدأ يتفضل.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
Sheikh, I haven't heard Qutayba's takbir before. Let's hear it. Qutayba, unmute yourself وسوي
زين ما
takbir.
شاء الله.
Qutayba, unmute yourself.
هو جيد بالعزف.
يلا يا قتيبة تفضل.
ماكو آلة عزف يمه.
يلا بوتة صوتية يعزف. تفضل قتيبة.
اشتد ما عاد اسمع زين.
تكبير مش بيك ما تسمع زين، تسمع كل الزين.
تكبير.
يلا الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر كثيرا والحمد لله
كثيرا وسبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا.
سبحان الله بكرة وأصيلا.
لا إله
إلا الله
وحده
لا
صدق وعده
صدق وعده
عبده
وعزم الأحزاب وحده.
لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أنصار سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر
ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر
الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله
أكبر الله أكبر
ولله الحمد.
شيخ أديب تكبير أردني فلسطيني. يلا يا أديب.
السلام عليكم وكل عام وانتم بخير.
كل عام وانتم بخير.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا وسبحان الله وبحمده بكرة وأصيلا. لا إله إلا الله وحده صدق وعده ونصر عبده وأعز جنده وهزم الأحزاب وحده لا شيء قبله ولا شيء بعده. لا إله إلا الله ولا نعبد إلا إياه مخلصين له الدين ولو كره الكافرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أصحاب سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواج سيدنا محمد وعلى ذرية سيدنا محمد وسلم تسليما كثيرا.
جزاك الله خير. Iqbal, I can see you there, but I don't know how many of your family there. Can you please participate? Unmute yourself.
It's only me and Hamza here at this moment.
Yalla, that should be enough, mashallah.
From Pakistan.
Okay. Yes, inshallah.
Carry on.
So takbir, Sheikh.
Okay, Hamza, is going to.
Okay, I'll come back to you if you like.
Yeah, come back to you. I guess.
Okay, right.
Inshallah.
Abu Ibrahim, I could see you, Abu Ibrahim. Can you unmute yourself? Allah يخليك. Abu Ibrahim al-Basrawi.
سلمان.
Unmute yourself. تفضل يا أبو إبراهيم كبر لنا.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. Carry
Yeah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر
Okay.
الله أكبر.
الله أكبر الله.
Yeah, carry on, Sheikh. Well.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد. Carry on.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد. رضوان إن شاء الله من أبو بكر السودانيز إن شاء الله. After رضوان is there. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد. رضوان.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا
إله إلا الله. من اليمن الآن.
إيه تفضل.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
هذا اللبيد هذا
أكبر
هذا
ولله
لبيد.
ما
الحمد.
شاء الله ما شاء الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر كبيرا والحمد لله كثيرا والسلام والصلاة على سيدنا محمدا بكرة وأصيلا. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
جزاك الله خير شيخ.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
أبو هشام ماهوري.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
جزاك الله خير. Sheikh, would you be able to explain the Salat al-Eid, because we will be breaking for Salat al-Eid? Can I please ask you all not to disrupt your connection? The only thing you need to do is blank your screen by cutting the video and mute your microphone. Then go for Salat al-Eid, and then we'll reconvene to hear the khutbah from Brother Asim, and there will be few guests who would like to say Eid Mubarak to us all, inshallah. So, Sheikh.
Yeah, and also I would really suggest if we can, close the sound from your computer or mobile, because if we have other people enter in the room, so they may speak and disturb your salah. So inshallah, the Salat al-Eid is 2 rak'ah. There is no iqama or adhan before. As we know, there is no sunnah or before or after. According to Shafi'i and some madhahib, is the salah, the first rak'ah is 7 takbir after takbirat al-ihram. So when you start, say Allahu Akbar, you count 7 takbir after that, and then you recite al-Fatiha and Surah Al-A'la if you can, if not any other part of the Quran, inshallah Azza wa Jal. The second rak'ah is 5 takbirah after the takbirat al-qiyam min al-rak'ah al-ula, after the takbir from the standing from the first rak'ah, inshallah Azza wa Jal. Some scholars say there's the gap between each takbir is the equal to the length of saying Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Some scholars say you can say this dhikr, but it's not really it's not recorded by the majority of the scholar. But anyway, you can just give gap between each takbir and each takbir, inshallah. So the first rak'ah is 7, and the second rak'ah are 5. In the second rak'ah, you can recite Surah Al-Fatiha, and after that, Surah Al-Ghashiyah, if you know it, inshallah. Otherwise, any other part of the Quran, inshallah. Azza wa Jal. Jazakumullah khairan. Any question?
Is it you can or you must read Al-Fatiha?
Al-Fatiha is must.
No, Al-Fatiha must be read,
must.
but I mean
Yes.
The second surah.
The second surah is, inshallah, your choice.
It's optional. Jazakumullah khair. So you will convene, inshallah, just before 9 o'clock, inshallah. We'll make a couple of takbirat, and then we'll listen to Brother Asim, and there will be some guests which will be greeting us, inshallah, after. And then we'll open the meeting to all of you to greet each other in turns, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair jaza, and see you shortly.
Okay.
Please mute your microphone.
Mute now.
inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Eid
Alaikum.
Mubarak.
MashaAllah, brother Ra'inul Islam. How are you? Wallahi, very nice to have you.
Alhamdulillah, nice to see you. So long time didn't see you. Alhamdulillah. It's so
Jazakallah
nice to
khair.
see you. Alhamdulillah.
Very nice to see you all, wallah. May Allah bless you. Inshallah, we'll carry on, inshallah, takbir.
فقط شوية noises هنا في البيت خلي
طيب ان شاء الله. Okay, I'll start inshallah. Once you're ready you can just... الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد. Dr. Bilal is there?
No, I don't see him. He came in and out. So Idris, inshallah.
And also we need a Pakistani takbir. We have Dr. Farouk here and we have mashallah. Idris, ready? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
دكتور بلال وين بلال؟ Unmute yourself يا بلال. Could see his name. أخونا إدريس, are you ready? وين أبو هشام؟ موجود أبو هشام؟ أبو إبراهيم تكبير بصراوي.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
جزاكم الله خير. Brother Asim, I don't know whether he's with us. He may be masquerading under a different name.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
جزاك الله خير. Sheikh, are you there?
Yes. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله
الحمد.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله
إلا الله
الله أكبر الله أكبر ولله الحمد.
جزاكم الله خير الجزاء. Sheikh, while we're waiting for Brother Asim, I could see Mandy is here. and I'm not really sure whether Kevin is here as well. He is, Mandy?
Can't see him.
Okay, so what I think we will do is welcome Mandy. She is the Christian chaplain in the university, and they've made it as a regular sort of contribution to our Eid celebration that the university always have joined in. So I welcome Mandy so much, and we are so grateful for all the support she's given us over the years. So Mandy, would you like to say a few words, please?
Thank you, Dr. Saad. Well, Eid Mubarak to you all. It's lovely to be here today to join in your celebrations, albeit remotely. I know these are really challenging times for all of us, and for you to be able to come together as a community, I think is so important at this time, so that you can support each other and celebrate together as well. So I wish you all the very best in your celebrations today, and thank you as always for such a warm welcome and for allowing me to be part of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mandy. That's greatly appreciated. Sheikh, I can't see Brother Azam. I don't know whether he's having problem in joining in. What would you suggest we need to do?
No, I think at the time you give him, I think 9:15. So we still have, I think 9:20 maybe the speech. Or we'll see now. We'll wait for 5 minutes if he doesn't come. So
Jazakallah khair.
we have too many imams and too many scholars here.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
Just I want to say, I'm very grateful for Mandy to join. Especially, I think today is she has a day off, I think, and she's making time really to join us. And thank you so much. And Mandy is chairing and heading the chaplaincy and all the religious activities in the university, and she's the deputy of the chair of the Mosque Management Committee. So she is the main direct, or the main contact for the mosque and for the religious services in the university, inshallah. So we are really grateful for your time and your support.
Thank you, Musan.
Thank you.
Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine. Allah good, alhamdulillah.
Just had a phone call from Brother Asim to say that he will be with us in less than a minute. So carry on talking to each other, inshallah.
That's fine.
Sheikh, we want us to update us with the new camp, the Bay campus.
Abu Hisham, you're muted.
No, I think maybe Mandy could tell us about the Bay campus facility till Kevin join, and Join will give another message. So.
Do you mean in terms of lockdown, or in terms of the actual?
No, in terms of the prayer facility in Bay campus, if there is anything available over there.
Okay, well, at the moment, as you know, most of the university is still working remotely. So obviously we've got the new facility, which is fantastic, and we were really hoping just before lockdown, literally the week before, that we were going to be able to open it and to be able to start using it. So currently the university, as some of you may know, is working through a process of opening up different buildings at different times. So both the mosque and the Bay campus facility are on the list of buildings to be reopened, but they won't be until September. And then we have to make a case to the senior management team in terms of what happens within that building, obviously taking into account social distancing measures and being mindful that things can change very quickly, as we've already seen this week in the news in various places. So I ask for your patience, because it is a really difficult time, and what the university, I know, will not allow us to do is to open any building without making sure that there are those safety measures in place, and that the buildings are safe for everybody to use, which obviously is what we all want. So we are having those conversations and we are working through things. And when, you know, when we have some news about what can happen in those spaces and when, then obviously we will be communicating that to you. So that's all I can say at the moment. Whether Kevin can say anything more from his perspective as director, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's not that we're putting barriers in place. It's just that we are both waiting for the university's timetable in terms of buildings, but also beginning to work through things ourselves in terms of what's possible.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Brother Asim will be joining us. You're right. Come on.
So I have, I think I have given the time for Kevin is 9:15.
It is
so
my
as well.
fault. Don't worry. I do apologize.
So he might join.
I'm sure he will.
No. Come in now. We're all waiting, eagerly waiting.
So we'll make a few takbir, inshallah. I mean, takbir is Mandy's reciting, you know, the greatness of Allah God, and this is one of the tradition during the Eid, is to recite this supplication: Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, walillahil hamd.
Jazakum Allah khair jaza, Sheikh. I welcome Brother Asim. And before I say anything more, I do apologize so sincerely, because I did give him, or I did give you all probably the 9:20 as a time, thinking that we'll continue with the takbir. Brother Asim, before we start with you, would you allow us for a couple of more minutes, please? Because I could see Kevin Child have just entered, and I would welcome him as a guest today. Kevin Child is the Director of Student Services and the Principal Safeguarding Officer. He's also the Chairman of Swansea Committee Mosque. So Kevin, can you unmute yourself? And we're all listening to you for a short while, and then we'll open it to the Brother Asim.
Assalamu alaikum, my friends. It's lovely to see you this morning. It's a great joy to see you this morning, actually, because I missed, for various reasons that we're all aware of, our coming together at the Eid Aladha. So it's really lovely to be here today. And thank you for inviting me again. It's lovely to be here for myself, to see my friends. I can see many of you. I can't see all of you. It's a great pleasure to be here on behalf of the university as well. And of course, today we're coming together to celebrate Eid al-Fitr.
Eid Aladha.
Sorry?
Eid Aladha.
Apologies. My mistake. I do apologize. I just wanted to say that I've been thinking about you all right throughout this very complicated time, wherever you are across the world. Each and every one of us has been affected in very many different ways by the coronavirus. I know it impacted very much on the Muslim community for Ramadan. It was incredibly impressive the way the community managed to congregate in the ways that we were able to. It was also incredible to see the service to the community throughout COVID from our Muslim community, especially here in Swansea. So I just want to say thank you so much for everything that you all do, working together, understanding the complexities of the world around us, understanding the complexities of the position of the university at the moment. It's, as you can imagine, it's a chaotic world that I'm operating in, trying to make sure that we're, going into lockdown, making sure we can look after our students, look after our staff, and now through this period, working very hard to reopen the university for September. A lot of work is going on and a lot of thought is being put in how we meet the needs of our diverse community, but also our diverse faith communities. As you all know, the faith spaces on both campuses are not open yet and are not likely to be open in the very near future. We are working on plans for a return in September in some shape or form. This will be directed by government guidelines. As you can imagine, for the mosque, very complicated for us to make sure we can meet those guidelines and keep everybody safe. Thinking about how we may or may not be able to serve the wider community outside the university temporarily until things release. Welsh Government made it very clear last week that we have to maintain a minimum of a 2-metre social distancing rule. And that's caused huge complications for learning, teaching, socializing, and everything else across the university. So please beware us on be patient with us on these plans. I would like you to make it clear at this point, actually, that I've come across a rumor that one person or the Mosque Management Committee have made the decision by themselves for the mosque and the other faith spaces not to be opened. This is completely unfounded and is a rumor started by people who maybe don't have the best interests of all of us in heart. It's a university decision directed by a group of senior leaders, myself included on that, and it's entirely focused, the decision is entirely focused on keeping us all safe. We're working very hard to make sure that we can practice our faiths when things get back to a position, I won't say normal or a new normal, because it'll be a different space for us all. So I wanted to pass that message on, and I wanted to wish you all as much peace, joy and love over this period and every day, because we're an amazing community together. We're an amazingly diverse community, and it's an absolute privilege to be part of the Muslim community, being a non-Muslim myself. So Eid Mubarak, everyone. Have a wonderful time.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much, Kevin.
May I
and may I say that he's always been very supportive to the mosque group, and we are so grateful to him, and Mandy and Sheikh Mohsen. Looking after us remotely. Bilal, I open the microphone to you. Bilal?
Is Bilal or Labid want to ask something?
Sorry.
Okay, I'll mute Labid. So you want to ask.
So is there any question, for Mandy and Kevin before Brother Asim starts?
I think, Sheikh, Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Kevin?
Assalamu alaikum. Alaikum salam, Dr. Mahood.
How are you? I asked Mandy and Sheikh Mohsen before, and then about the Bay campus, regarding the facilities of during, inshallah, when we open normally, the facilities of the praying. So Mandy, she's actually put the ball on your place. She said, Kevin, he will be maybe answer some questions.
Okay, so what was the question? What is?
I think the question, Kevin, is that what about the facilities in Bay campus? Where are we with the facilities in Bay campus when we eventually open and go back to normality?
Well, as far as I'm aware at this point, the facilities are ready to be opened now. It's just a question of understanding what open looks like, making sure that we can staff the facility. There are male and female prayer rooms there. There are wudu facilities. So it will be a very, very much better space for daily prayer. Friday prayer is likely to carry on in the gym, we think, because the space that we've got now is great for daily prayer. It's great for the wider faith community, but it's not big enough for the Friday congregations. And the discussions are to keep that space for Fridays, but for every other day of the week, we've got a really nice, central, bright, shiny, welcoming faith facility to welcome all faiths and to celebrate our diversity together. It's really exciting. It's taken an awful long time for us to get here, as you know. But and unfortunately, because of coronavirus, it's delayed our excitement and our enthusiasm to open that space. We were hoping to do it probably in early March, wasn't it, Mandy?
Yeah, it was literally the week after, well, the week of lockdown that we were ready to go, which is a shame.
And the facility over there is the designated place for 5 daily prayer. And it's only for the 5 daily prayer. And also there's a separate wudu area for brothers and sisters, a separate prayer room for sisters as well. So it's actually I can say is much better than University Mosque in terms of the facility and the daily prayer. Just only the Friday will remain in the same place.
And once again, on behalf of all the Muslim students and the Muslim community and the Muslim staff, thank you all very much for ensuring that. I know it's been a struggle, given the fact that the university is not in the best financial situation, like any other university, but they did manage to find the finance and the capital to support the Muslim students and the Muslim staff and the Muslim community at large. So again, once again, thank you very much for that. It's much appreciated. I'll invite you all to stay in. The only thing I do ask you to do is to blank your screen because I'm going to open the microphone to our guest speaker and the reminder. He doesn't need any introduction. Brother Asim's been a great supporter to the program of the University Mosque, the virtual program, and I'm so grateful for his support and help. Whenever I've asked him, he always came forward. I know that he's been called on right, left, and center by so many people because he simply gives excellent reminders and excellent speeches. So without any further ado, I'll open the microphone to Brother Asim. So please sit there and listen. As I said before, we'll open the field and the Zoom for each of you to greet each other in turn, and inshallah we'll have a lovely time after as well. So Brother Asim, please blank your video and your microphone and let's listen.
So just for Kevin and Mandy, they are welcome to stay, but because of their commitment, if they want to leave anytime, please, you don't have to feel, obliged to stay.
Thank you, Mohsin. I love listening to Brother Asim, so I'm definitely staying for this part.
Jazakallah.
And thank you for your kind sentiments, Kevin, as well. I will certainly do that. Okay. We will begin. My apologies for joining slightly late. As Dr. Saad said, the invitation from my perspective was slightly confusing, and that's probably more down to my perception than it is anything else. So my apologies for joining slightly late. So we will begin, inshallah. Just a reminder before we start, this is a reminder as opposed to the khutbah of Eid. So it will not be in the traditional format of the khutbah. It will be a reminder that we can all benefit from. So with that, we will begin, inshallah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil mursaleen. Khatam al-anbiya wa rahmatul lil alameen. Sayyidina wa habibana wa shafi'ana wa maulana Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam and my brothers and sisters in humanity. What a wonderful day that we all come together on. The celebration of Eid Aladha. And this is probably the most unusual celebration of Eid Aladha we have ever had to encounter. 2020 Eid al-Fitr and 2020 Eid al-Adha in lockdown will no doubt go down in history, as will the Hajj that we've been witnessing over the last couple of days as monumental moments in history that we will maybe never, inshallah, ever see again in our lifetimes. And of course, we're all very well aware that Eid al-Adha is the celebration the celebration almost of the life and the sacrifices and the rituals of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham. So we're all familiar with the fact that the pilgrims who are on Hajj right now, today will be their day of sacrifice. Just as Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham was asked to sacrifice his son. And as we look at the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, we see a life of sacrifice, not just his son, having to leave his wife and his child in the desert, having to leave his community, having to stand up against the tyranny, having to make hijrah, migration on so many occasions. It was sacrifice after sacrifice after sacrifice, which is why traditionally on this Eid, we speak very much about sacrifice. Today, though, I would like to shift the focus of our lens, if I might, from just sacrifice to other elements, other aspects of the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Particularly aspects of the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham, that relate to you and I today. And this is really important, I feel, and I'll tell you why I'm doing this. A couple of years ago, in fact, in Swansea, after delivering the Eid khutbah, a young man came up to me and said, that was really interesting, but Abraham has nothing to do with me. Abraham has nothing to do with me, but it was still really interesting. Thank you very much. And I wondered, why did he feel that Abraham had nothing to do with him? Why did Ibrahim alayhi salam's story not connect with him? And I realized that sometimes as da'is, as speakers, as shuyukh, as imams, or whatever the people describe us as, maybe we don't make the right connections for people living today from the stories that were told to us. Those stories were told to us 1400 years ago, but they weren't told to us for relevance 1400 years ago. They're told to us for relevance until the Day of Judgment. They're as relevant today as they were then. It's just you and I need to think a bit more about it. We need to think about the connections that we can make. So today, inshallah, I want to pull out, in the 15 minutes remaining together, I want to pull out, from my perspective, some lessons from the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam that you and I can relate to today. The first one I want to mention is Ibrahim alayhi salam, the minority. Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham, the minority. And I'll tell you why this is so important. In our day today, living as we do in a non-Muslim majority country, we often are looked at as minorities. People from black and minority ethnic backgrounds are minorities. The heightened awareness, because the Black Lives Matters movement has heightened also people's awareness and cognizance of people being minorities. And Ibrahim alayhi salam was also a minority. And I want to look at how he dealt with being a minority and then make an analogy for me and you. He was in fact a minority, complete minority in his community. The entire society was upon their worship of idols, and he was the sole person calling to Tawheed, to the oneness, to the monotheistic faith. So he was a minority. At some points in his life, he was such a minority that he was the only believer on the face of the earth. At other points, there was a very, very small community of mainly his family members around him. His wives, his children, his nephew, a very small community of believers around him. But at no point in his life was he in anything other than a numerical minority. But it didn't stop him being a moral majority. He still did his best to lead his community, to lead his people, to lead his family. To what? To a better way of life. Away from tyranny, away from oppression, away from idol worship. Towards what? Towards Tawheed and success and peace. And there's a lesson for you and I in this. Many people feel that if we are minorities, which we are, many of us are minorities in our own country, does that mean we have to shy away and hide? Does it mean we have to ditch our identity? Does it mean we have to completely assimilate? Some people go as far as changing their names to try and fit in. Some people try and bleach their skin, or some people try to dissociate themselves from their faith. Do we need to do that? No, absolutely not. We live, alhamdulillah, in a pluralistic society. And what Black Lives Matter has proven, what COVID-19 has proven, is that we can come together as a society on what is common between us. And that is the exact edict that the Quran tells us. The Quran tells us to speak to our Christian brothers and sisters and say what? Come, let us come together on that which is common between us, that we worship none but Allah alone. So as a society, whether you're a minority or a majority, we should all come together on what is common between us. And there is much more common between us than there is that divides us. But in doing so, don't lose your identity. Don't lose your uniqueness. It is that uniqueness. In pluralistic society, it's that uniqueness. It's that beauty of each individual element of a society that makes it so wonderful. It's not to be homogenized. It's not to be washed away and everybody to look the same. It's to be celebrated. So the number one lesson I take today from Ibrahim alayhi salam being a minority is let us celebrate being a minority. Let us be proud to be a minority. Let us proud to be Muslims. Let us worship in the best way. We've just heard our university, Kevin, telling us about the facilities that are available in our university. We have provision to worship. Let us worship and be proud to worship. We're being encouraged to worship by our colleagues in the university and in our society. Let us take the opportunity. Let us worship to the best of our abilities. Let us be proud of our Muslim identity. Let's not shy away from it. And yet, let's come together with the rest of society on that which is common and that which is good and that which we can benefit to the rest of society. So the first lesson relevant to you and me today is Ibrahim alayhi salam was a minority, and so are many of us. The second lesson I want to bring to us is Ibrahim alayhi salam and his love for Allah. How is that relevant to you and me? We talked a lot about sacrifice at the beginning and how Ibrahim alayhi salam had to make many, many sacrifices, of course. But this word about his love is related to his sacrifice. But how was he able to sacrifice the way he did? What made him able to sacrifice in such an amazing way where perhaps you and I would not even dream of being even close to his shoelaces in terms of the ability he had to sacrifice? One of my respected Arab brothers, when he was looking at the word Khalil, the name for our non-Muslim brothers and sisters, the name of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Abraham, is Khalilullah, the friend of Allah, the close friend of Allah. The word Khalil, according to my Arab brother who gave me this information, he told me that it comes from a word which I'm probably going to say wrong, so I won't say it. Sheikh Muslim will correct me. Which I believe is the root word of takhallala, which apparently means where love intermingles with the heart. Where love intermingles with the heart. How does that relate to you and I? Love for Allah had intermingled so much in the heart of Ibrahim alayhi salam that whether he was being thrown in the fire, or whether he was being asked to sacrifice his son, or whether he was being told to leave his family in the desert, or whatever the sacrifices that he was being told to make, the love had intermingled so much in his heart that he was able to make the sacrifices. Because Allah's love had replaced every other love in his life. Allah's love had replaced every other love in his life. How does that relate to you and I? None of us will ever be asked, I'm sure, to sacrifice our children. None of us will probably be asked to leave our families in the desert. None of us will ever be asked to make the sacrifices he had to make. But we're asked to do other things. We're asked in the Quran to enjoin good and forbid evil. We're asked to perform our daily prayers. We're asked to give charity. These all require sacrifice. So that sacrifice was easy for him to do because the love of Allah had intermingled so much in his heart that there was no problem sacrificing for Allah. The most important one for me, subhanAllah, for this, how much he loved Allah, how much he trusted Allah. We're all familiar with the story when Ibrahim alayhi salam was about to be thrown in the fire. He's about to be chucked into a massive fire by Nimrod. And what does he say? He says, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakeel. Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakeel. What an amazing phrase. If you and I could capture this in our lives, what an amazing life we would live. Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakeel. I place all my trust, my reliance, my tawakkul on Allah. And He is the best disposer of my affairs. Because the reality of our lives is, if we believe in Allah, we believe in God Almighty, who else is better to dispose of our affairs? Who else is there better that we can trust other than Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala? But the reason he was able to do it is he loved Allah above everything else. Now, how does this relate to me today? Maybe to you as well. Is the love of wealth, the love of dunya, the love of luxury, the love of ease, the love of TV, the love of internet, the love of cars, has this overtaken the love of Allah? When the muadhin is calling in the morning at Fajr time, Hayya ala salah, Hayya ala al-falah, come to prayer, come to success. As-salatu khayrun min an-nawm. Prayer is better than sleep. Does my love of sleep overtake my love of Allah and the sleep holds me to the bed? Or does my love of Allah, has it reached a stage where it has intermingled? I love the phrase, it has intermingled in the heart so much that the heart is ready to relinquish its own desires. The heart is ready to relinquish its love of sleep, its love of dunya, of worldly matters. Why? To please our Creator. Ibrahim alayhi salam was Khalil because his love was so overwhelming, his trust was so overwhelming that he could make these sacrifices because of that factor. You and I, my brothers and sisters in Islam, and my brothers and sisters in humanity, we all also have to make sacrifices. People have had to make sacrifices throughout this lockdown period. Some people have had to make sacrifices even of their lives. Frontline workers helping brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity who are working on the front line, dying because they're helping people through this lockdown, through this COVID crisis. They made sacrifices. If you and I had that love of our Creator, of our Cherisher, our Sustainer, above love of everything else, those sacrifices are much easier to deal with. So the second lesson I take from Ibrahim alayhi salam, and maybe it will benefit you too, is Ibrahim alayhi salam's love intermingled so much in his heart that he was able to make those sacrifices. The third one that I want to mention from Ibrahim alayhi salam was the Quran describes Ibrahim alayhi salam as he was thankful, he was grateful for Allah's blessings. Ibrahim alayhi salam was thankful, grateful for Allah's blessing. You and I might look at the life of Ibrahim alayhi salam, and I've just mentioned 3 or 4 incidents, which are massive sacrifices he was required to make. I've already mentioned he had to make hijrah, migration. He wasn't a rich man. He wasn't lavished with palaces and gold and silver. He was making migrations. He was leaving his family. He was making sacrifices. But he was always grateful. This is really, really important about gratitude. Really important about gratitude. If we look at our lives today, even during the lockdown, if we look at our lives in the UK during lockdown, compared to many, many people in hundreds of countries, millions of people around the world, whose lockdown was very different to you and I. For some of us on this call, there will be some places very close to home. If we just turn on the TV screens and see Yemen, or Syria, or Kashmir, or Palestine, or Rohingya, or the list goes on and on and on and on. And you see the situation of those people during lockdown. The same coronavirus has gone global. Was their lockdown the same as ours? Yes, perhaps some of us could get the particular brand of avocado butter that we wanted in our local supermarket, which is normally available. And that became the biggest sacrifice we had to make, that we had to maybe go for a different brand. But for others, it wasn't about the brands they could get. It was whether they could get food, whether they could bury their dead, whether they could survive even through this terrible period. So we have so much to be grateful for. We live, alhamdulillah, all of us on this call, we live in a situation of security. We live in a situation of peace. We live in a situation of prosperity. Yes, absolute prosperity. By virtue of the fact that we live in the United Kingdom, we are in the top 5 or 6% of the wealth of the ummah. This means we are in prosperity. We're in security. We have ability to worship. Go back to what we said earlier. We're being told about the facilities we have on our campus even to worship. We can worship. We can have security. We can have prosperity. These are things we need to be grateful for. But above all of those, the thing we should be most grateful for is our iman, our faith. Is there any greater gift that a human being can be given than guidance? Is there any greater gift that a human being can be given than the opportunity to attain Jannah, heaven, felicity? No. And we've been gifted that. Most of us have been gifted that without even asking. Most of us have been gifted it without even being asking for it, and yet we've been given it. Should we not therefore then be grateful? We should be grateful more than we can even imagine. Allah is describing Ibrahim alayhi salam in the Quran as being grateful for the blessings of Allah. So what about the blessings on you and I? And I say, remind us first and foremost, the greatest blessing in our lives is the fact that He gave us guidance. Guidance is the greatest blessing any human being could wish for, and Allah has given us guidance. And the final one I want to remind myself before giving a general reminder. Ibrahim alayhi salam, as I said, was a minority at the very beginning. But in being a minority, he stood up. He was the moral majority. He called the people to the truth. He called the people to justice. He called the people to tawheed. He called the people to all the things that he was required to call people to. but he did so respectfully. He didn't do so argumentatively. He didn't do so in a nasty way. He didn't do so in an aggressive way. He did so in the most respectful way. His own father joined the idol makers. His own father joined those who wished to put him in the fire. And what did he do? He said to him, salam, peace. He disagreed, but he did so respectfully. There is an enormous lesson for you and I in that, my brothers and sisters, today. You don't have to agree with everybody around you. Disagreements will take place by virtue of the fact that we are human beings. But disagreements should be done respectfully. Respectfully. There is a massive lesson for that in us, for us in that. The first lesson is we will disagree in our families. We will disagree in our communities. We will disagree in our societies. We will disagree religiously. We will disagree politically. We will disagree in so many ways. But those disagreements should always be based on disagreements which are respectful. Respectful. So I urge my brothers and sisters to look at the life of Ibrahim al-Islam and look at how he disagreed. He called to truth, he called to justice, he called to goodness, but he did so in the most beautiful and respectful of ways. And there is a massive lesson for you and I on how we do that in this day and age. And the final reflection I want to make, the final reflection before I hand back to Dr. Saad. When we see Hajj, the most unusual Hajj we've ever seen, when we see there are only probably 10,000 Hujjaj there, but it gives us an amazing opportunity to see something more focused. Perhaps normally we watch the pictures of Hajj and we see millions of people. Now we can focus in on the faces. We can focus in on the places. We can focus in on the garments. We can focus in on so many elements of Hajj that traditionally we don't maybe have the opportunity to do. And I want to just give one lesson that I take away from that. And I think this is also linked to the coronavirus pandemic, which is global. Hajj reminds us of our destination. When you see pilgrims in those two white sheets, the same two white sheets that you and I will be buried in one day, it reminds us that we all have a destination of this journey of life. And that destination, inshallah, is heaven, the next life, eternity of bliss, felicity, happiness. And in doing so, it teaches us what we need. It teaches us about our needs. Those people on Hajj are being bussed around with small bags that they carry. They don't have 12 suitcases and cars and houses dragged behind them. They have what they need for the journey. Need is a really important word, my brothers and sisters, because sometimes we have wants which are way, way above what we need. If we recognize our destination is not just in this world, our destination is far, far beyond it. Our first destination is, inshallah, a destination of felicity for eternity. We need to focus on what do we need for that destination. Not just for this world that we will live in for half a day. What about that destination which we're going to live in forever? What do we need to take with us? What do we need to be with us on that journey? Ibrahim al-Islam, as I say, was a minority. He was a lover of Allah so much that it intermingled in his heart that he could sacrifice. He was grateful to Allah. Even though his needs were few and his wants weren't many, he was grateful for what he'd been given from Allah, and he disagreed respectfully. So I hope today we will take those lessons from the life of Ibrahim al-Islam, implement them in our lives, and inshallah make our own lives and our families and our communities and our societies all the better for following the example of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Jazakumullahu khairan, wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And Jazakallah khair, and as usual, it is a reminder which enlightened my heart, and I'm sure so many of you. Please stay with us because we've got Geraint Davis, MP for Swansea West, and I'm so grateful for him to joining us. Geraint had made it a usual custom to say Eid Mubarak to Muslims in our community. And one of the final thing I would like to do is the sacrifice which Sheikh Mohsen has made, because you know he's 5 hours behind us. So he woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and when I produced the program and gave it to him, and I said, apologies, Sheikh, but this is the only time I could fit in. And he said, don't worry, I'll manage. So I'm very grateful to him.
Thank you.
Geraint, would you like to say a few words to the congregation, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam.
Especially to, of course, Sheikh Muslim, who's watching us from afar. I'm sure he'll send the greetings of Swansea to Canada. And this is a very unusual time to talk in this way on Zoom, but I'm hoping that in the future he'll be able to join us on Eid and on other occasions virtually so that we can keep in contact. It's great to be able to send my wishes and celebrating Eid Aladha today. I mean, normally we'd all be gathered together, families and friends, eating and enjoying ourselves, but obviously everybody's making sacrifices, staying out of harm's way. And obviously Eid Aladha is about the virtue of sacrifice, and it's particularly appropriate this year when we know we're doing everything we can individually to help our communities, our neighbours, our families, our friends. And I'd like to just pay a special tribute to all those who are working in the NHS, in care work, in our food supplies, everybody in all our communities is doing so much together to keep us safe and to make us strong and to help our recovery in the future. This is a very difficult time for all of us, but this is a time, of course, today to come together, be it virtually, and celebrate and give thanks and look to the future in solidarity and positivity. So without further ado, I'd just like to say Eid Mubarak, have a lovely day, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you on this great day. Thank you.
And Eid Mubarak to you, and thank you very much for joining us. It's a really great pleasure to have you, to have Kevin, and to have Mandy joining us today. We are really very appreciative of that. Sheikh Mohsen, would you like to say a few words? Because I'm going to ask you to unblank your screens so you could see each other. I know it's been difficult not to hug and kiss and whatever in our community during Eid, but that's what we are in. And we are, as been said before, we're so grateful and appreciative of our community that they managed to give a good example of how we conduct ourselves in these difficult times. Sheikh Mohsen.
I just would like to say, Eid Mubarak, كل عام وأنتم بخير, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our deeds for all of you. And I'd like to thank Brother Asim for his great reminder always. May Allah bless him. Allahumma ameen. And also I'd like to thank Garen Davis for his valuable time, Kevin Chila and Mandy. We are very grateful for your attendance and participating with us. And we would love to see you always. Hopefully very soon we will be together, and we'll pray to Allah God to protect all humanity from any calamities or any adversities in this very, very difficult time. Thank you all. I mean, the time of Fajr prayer is here now in 5 minutes. So if you excuse me, I will have to go for pray, and I will join you back if you don't mind.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Jazakallah khair. We'll wait for you, Sheikh. Don't worry. I'm sure we'll be able to have enough to talk among each other. One further thing. Sorry.
Can we have a virtual breakfast?
Virtual breakfast? Yes, you can.
Yes.
You make your order, and I'll make sure that is ready.
We missed the falafel and.
Yeah, I know. Kevin would promise us to have a double shares next time we join in. Jazakallah khair. Can I just remind you, speaking about the great reminder, Brother Asim, that all these reminders, there are more than 50 of them now recording on YouTube. All you have to do is to go to the Swansea University and put on Swansea University or put my name in the YouTube, and you'll get them all. And I really tell you, if you feel a bit down and lonely, some of these reminders, to listen to them again, just do cheer you up immensely. So I very much recommend them for you. And they are there, and I'm so grateful for all those who contributed towards these reminders, including Brother Asim, Brother Erjan, Sheikh Mohsen, and so many of the others. So I'm going to ask you please to unblank your screens. And I'm going to ask people to greet each other. Zoom is not a very good platform to speak together. So unfortunately, we have to speak in turns, otherwise it'll be very confusing. What I'll do is I'll go in my screen from left to right and open the screen and just ask each one of you to say a few words. If you do not want to say anything, just be there and just show us your face, that'd be great. So I'll start with Abu Hisham. He's the first on my screen on the left. Abu Hisham, would you like to unblank your screen and unblank your microphone? If you have moved away, I'm going to go to Brother Abu Hisham is here.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عام وانتم بخير.
كل عام وانتم بخير. عيد مبارك.
عيد مبارك عليكم وعلى جميع أمة محمد المسلمين وأصدقائنا اللي شاركونا في هذه الفرحة العظيمة.
جزاك الله خير.
Eid Mubarak to all of you, and we thank the brother who's joined us, the friends, the brother, and anyone of the community. So we thank you all, and inshallah Eid Mubarak wa Jazakallah khair, Dr. Saad, for this facilities you provide for us.
Jazakallah khair. Abu Abdurrahman, you are next on my screen. Can I ask you to unmute yourself, please?
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
السلام عليكم.
جميعا أسأل الله سبحانه وتعالى أن يتقبل منا ومنكم صالح الأعمال جميعا يا رب. For our beloved brothers and sisters, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept your prayers, your supplication, and your good deeds during these days. And thanks for this gathering, and thanks for the guests, our beloved guests. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Jazakallah khair. Can I ask the ambassador of Yemen in Swansea, Brother Radwan, to unblank your microphone and unblank your screen and unmute your microphone, please?
Eid Mubarak for everybody. And I like to thank especially our MB and Kevin and Mandy for joining us. And thus we feel grateful for their support for our community and our students who come from over all the world. Thank you for everybody, and Eid Mubarak.
Jazakallah khair. Brother Ibrahim, from all the way from Sudan, but living in Swansea, of course. And can I ask you to unmute yourself and unblank your screen and say a few words, if you so wish?
Thank you to everyone, and Eid Mubarak to everyone, and العفو والعافية. إن شاء الله العام الجاي يكون أحلى من هيك، وجزاكم الله خير وأحسن.
Jazakallah khair. Yeah, I'm going to invite a very special person to me, and that is my brother, all the way from Northampton. He is shielding, so I've said to him, look, if you are shielding, you could join our group in Swansea, and I'll send you the bill later on. So he very kindly joined us. Labid, would you like to say a few words, please?
Assalamu alaikum. Eidkum Mubarak, Jami'an. And I'm sure I don't need to remind you, it's the Eid of sacrifice. We need to sacrifice for those who are in need. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Okay, Morocco's ambassador, Brother Idris, would you like to say a few words? Brother Idris always give us very good advice about bits and pieces. So he knows so much about he's in the education system. I don't know whether he's there.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بارك علينا وعليكم عيد الأضحى.
آمين يا ربي يا كريم.
صحة والعافية إن شاء الله، اللهم تقبل منا صالح الأعمال ومنا ومنكم إن شاء الله.
جزاك الله خير.
عيد مبارك على الجميع.
جزاك الله خير.
إن شاء الله see you soon إن شاء الله in mosque.
آمين يا ربي يا كريم. Thank you. Now the next one is really a special person to all of us, because You know, he's made a very long journey. Ain al-Islam is, he was with us in Swansea and was with us for quite a while, and he was a pillar really in the university mosque. Then he took a job as a lecturer in China, of all places. And then he was fortunately on a visit to his family when the COVID broke. And so he has been in the UK ever since. So can I ask you to unblank your screen if you so wish, and just say a few words, Brother Ain al-Islam. Microphone.
Assalamu alaikum. I thank you very much. My special thanks goes to Dr. Ismail, because who arranged this, actually this, who organized these arrangements, and through these organizations, actually we have to, so we actually have to chance to see, we have to chance to communicate to each other. That means, so our lot of brothers actually who meet before in the mosque, and I mean Kevin and the Mandi and yeah. So others actually, this really is a very great chance actually to see to everyone and to communicate to each other. Yeah. So I'm very happy to see everyone, and a special on this day, the Eid Aladha. So it is actually so last, I mean, so I was here also. So I mean through the Ramadan, and now is the Eid Aladha. So this time is actually we are everyone at home, but we communicate. That is, we think always maybe we are so close to each other. We are not too far from each other. We are very near to each other. That means our relation is actually now is developed more and more. So I thank you everyone. I thank you, Dr. Ismail, and thank you everyone to each other who actually participate in this arrangement of the Eid Aladha, and to everyone a special Eid Mubarak to everyone. Yeah, I thank you very much. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair jaza. Thank you very much. Thank you
Assalamu
all.
alaikum.
Tafadhal, please.
Did you hear my? I was mute, I think. No.
I think you finished. I thought you finished.
Okay, that's fine. No, okay. Barakallah, jazakallah khair.
Do you want to say any more? Microphone is yours.
No, I thought no one heard me, so.
No, we heard you very well.
Okay, barakallah.
Jazakallah khair. I'm going to open the microphone. I see the name Amin Ali, but I see a very nice, handsome person behind the camera. I don't know whether you want to say anything. And so unmute yourself.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. Eid Mubarak.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Just this is Osama. You know, I went to Swansea Uni Mosque quite a bit before. Yeah, and I just want to say Eid Mubarak to Sheikh Mohsin. It's been a while since I've seen him, and everyone else, and just wanted to thank him for waking up early and all that.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Thank you, Osama. And back to I see Brother Adib using his Yasmin's iPhone. So I ask you to unmute yourself, please, Adib.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh wa kullu aam wa antum bi khair.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I give my regards to everybody and hope everybody will be happy on this day, and kullu aam wa antum bi khair for everybody, hopefully. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah khair wa ahsan ilayk. And you know, there is a pillar of the mosque, and that is the Iqbal's family. And I could see Brother Iqbal and Nabil and the children there. So I'm going to ask him to unmute himself. I'm not really sure whether the children will give him the opportunity to say anything, but I'll start with you, Brother Iqbal, please.
Okay, thank you. We're just going to say to everyone Eid Mubarak. I was especially thank to our MP, Gavin Davis, as well, you know, to come on this show. And I think this is it, you know, we don't have anything else to say.
Nabil, you're not gonna get away with it. You have to say something, Nabil.
No, yeah, just Eid Mubarak to everybody, and you know, just stay safe, inshallah, and
just Gary had smiling, you know. Gary Davis.
Just wish you guys all a good Eid. That's about it, really.
Jazakallah
Hamza,
khair.
your favorite one. You know,
Hamza, do you want to say anything, Hamza?
Thank you.
You're never shy for words, Hamza, in the mosque.
And Musa and Zainab. Musa.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Eid
Eid
Mubarak.
Mubarak.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Eid Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum. Salam Ahmed.
Eid Mubarak, everyone.
Thank you very much. Eid Mubarak to you as well. And Qutayba, I see you're next on my screen. Can you unmute yourself? Are you sitting in a very nice conservatory?
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Eid Mubarak to everyone, and we hope to really see you in the mosque again very soon.
Inshallah.
And well, nothing else to say much really.
Jazakallah khair.
Next time, take it easy and relax.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum.
Okay, I'm going to introduce the next person, and we talked about so much. We talked about the frontline workers in the NHS, and Dr. Fawaz Araqat is a frontline worker in the NHS. You know, whenever he goes to Pembrokeshire and for 10 days and will come back, and he always very apologetic for not being able to attend on a regular basis, and for very good reason, really. Dr. Fawaz, can you, if you're there, can you unmute yourself and open your screen if you wish? If you're not there, I'll come back to you. Yeah, you're there.
Assalamu alaikum.
Open your video, please.
It is difficult to open the video. I can see you, but I can't see myself.
Oh, don't worry. Carry on then.
Happy Eid, inshallah, for everybody. May Allah accept all your good deeds. وكل عام وأنتم بألف خير. I couldn't share this morning meeting because I was really busy. So happy Eid to everybody. Inshallah, we'll meet in better circumstances.
Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much indeed. Dr. Minshad, you know, sort of, there are so many entrepreneurs in Swansea University and in the community, and Dr. Minshad is one of them. So can you unmute yourself and say a few words, please?
Assalamu alaikum to everyone. Eid Mubarak.
Assalamu alaikum.
I can't see my video. I think it is a. Have you? Yeah,
carry on. We could hear you very well. Thank you very much.
Okay, so no, I was trying to see my the video basically, but it's not letting me to do so. I think I miss everyday mosque because I'm in the Swansea University, so I'm not able to see all of you. And inshallah, hopefully we will be there. And the Eid Mubarak to all of you. We are basically not able to work for last 3 months in the uni, so we just started last three weeks. So business is as usual, but things are moving in right direction. So we need a lot of blessing from all of you. Jazakumullah khairan.
Thank you very much. Now, the next person I'm going to have to say a few words about, because he is really the one who made us all proud. Professor Malik. Professor Malik, as you well know, is the backbone and the force behind Samir Foundation. He managed to collect so much for charities over the years. Not only that, he also had fed the homeless in Swansea. And I could go on and go on for all the good deeds he's done. I wish he could unblack his screen and say a few words to us. You know, I don't know how much he managed to raise for the good causes he supported and we supported through him. The good thing about Samir Foundation is that the penny you give, the penny gets to its destination. There is no, if you like, overheads. Professor Malik.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Ismail. I don't deserve so many good words, you see, basically. But anyway, thank you very much, and Eid greeting to all of you. Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak. And we did very well during this month, you see. raising funds for the charity work for Yemen, for Pakistan, and as well as for the Gaza, you see.
Can you give us some figure, Professor Malik? I know you are always very humble, but can you give us some figures and tell people how much we managed to get to these people?
Yeah, you know, for the Pakistan Eid Mubarak Eid, you see, we are doing the what you call the 7 cows. About 4,000 pounds we raised for that one, you see. For Yemen, we raised more than 10,000 pounds, you see.
MashaAllah.
For Yemen, we'll be doing 3 cows and about 73 lambs, you see. Now it is up to our ambassador from Yemen, Dr. Adwan, to show us physically and convince the people, you see, that how much it helped us, you see. And for the Gaza, we did manage to raise about 2,000 pounds.
Yeah. And for those of you who are not aware of the system, this is really to produce the Qurbani. So we managed to, you know, maybe help with your help feed some of the people who really are very desperate. And alhamdulillah, we've seen the photos of the cows and the lambs that have been bought in the money you've raised. But again, if it wasn't for Samia Foundation and Professor Malik, I think we would have been unable to provide at such short notice and without incurring any expenses, all the support we managed to give for our desperate brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity. So Jazakallah khair, khayr jaza for that, and we are so grateful to you.
Yeah, can I say something, Dr. Saad? Last few words, you see. Basically, we are the only charity in this country that we spent 0 money in this country, you see, in UK. We have no expenses. We have no bills. We don't pay any bill, electricity bill, gas bill, office bill, internet bill, you see. So 100% charity, you see, because everything is done by me.
Jazakallah khair. And you know, when you say we haven't spent any money on overheads, you mean? Because I know you fed so many desperate people, so many homeless in Swansea and beyond Swansea. So thank you very much for that. Dr. Radwan, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I'd like to say something for all of you and Prof. Malik. I've given him a new title, is the father of the poor and homeless people, and as well Mahathir of Swansea. This is in my mind all the time when I see his work. He's working before 7, he will get up and continue all day. You couldn't cope with him. It's very hard, to be honest.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much indeed. There is an iPhone, and I'm not really sure whether who is the owner of the iPhone. So can I ask you, it doesn't really matter, just unmute yourself and say a few words, Jazakallah khair, or Jazakallah khair, whatever, it's a male or female, I don't know. That is if you want to. Sister Rabina Ahmed, I've got your name on the screen. I don't know whether you are using your phone or somebody else has nicked your phone and using it in your name. So if you want to say anything to the congregation, please feel free. If not, I'm going to go to a very familiar name, and that is Brother Mahbub Pasha. Mahbub, are you there? If you are there, unmute yourself and say a few words. If you're not, I could come back to you later. But you wouldn't know that if you're not. Okay, I'm going to go to, again, a very famous and important person in the community, and that is Brother Farooq Shah, Dr. Farooq Shah. Dr. Farooq, do you want to unmute yourself and say a few words?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone, and Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak on behalf of myself, my family, and also on behalf of the Vikas. And I would like to thank Dr. Saad and Sheikh Mohsin for keeping us united in these difficult times, and then keeping some sort of feel of the mosque together. We were very blessed in Ramadan, and after Ramadan, your halakas and everything. And thanks very much for arranging Eid once again. And on behalf of the community, I would also like to thank Garen Davis, Mandy, and Kevin Child for their continued support and participation. So Eid Mubarak to everyone, and enjoy the day.
Jazakallah khair. A very, very special person to me, and that is Ahmed Msafir. Ahmed Msafir gave us some very nice talk after Ramadan last time when we greeted each other, and he told us that's the first time in his life he became the Imam of Taraweeh and Imam of Eid. Brother Ahmed, if you're there, if you want to unmute yourself, please, and say a few words to us because we're desperate to hear your voice.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. There's much better voices than mine on here, I guarantee you. I don't have much to say of any value as much as my other brothers and sisters, but just really Eid Mubarak to everybody. And I miss, seeing everybody. I've seen one or two people as I've, gone around with my work, obviously, but, the community is very important to me, and I miss that. I have a feeling on this day, which when we're here in whatever circumstances we're in, we're still enjoying ourselves, and my sadness is feeling for the people elsewhere in the world who their day isn't going to be any different. Their Eid will just be a thought in their mind, and they won't have the beautiful, blessings and comforts that we have. So I myself, I like to spend some time thinking about those people and making dua for them that their circumstances may improve, inshallah. So thank you very much for your service as well, and to all the rest of the community. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khair, jazak. I see the next name on my screen is written guest. I'm not really sure who's behind the microphone, and so if you'd like to unmute yourself and just say a few words, please. If you don't want to, I'll move on. I'll give you a chance. No? And it's interesting, so many of these names is just, I can't figure out. The next one is, believe it or not, is just the letter S. So S, Eid Mubarak to you. And if you're there and if you want to say a few words, just unmute yourself and say a few words. No? Okay. Global Education Matters, Global Education Matters, whoever behind that banner, if you want to say anything, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, it's Brother Riyadh, mashallah. Oh, so nice to see you.
Jazakallah khair. It's my mobile phone, which kind of takes the global educational matters, the email, rather than my name. So first of all, Eid Mubarak, kullu amantum bakhair. To everyone, special thanks to Geraint Davis, Mandy, and Kevin Child, and a very special thanks to Sheikh Muslim, who joined us from Canada. And a very, very, very special thanks to you, Dr. Saad. The one thing, I always appreciate the way, especially when we were in a situation, everyone, they were isolating, everyone, they were sheltering themselves. And you provided a platform where you brought people together. And mashallah, the university mosque is a community of people from many different backgrounds, many different nationalities. And the way we work together for the uplifting of the area, especially the Swansea, the contribution every single person is making is immense. And mashallah, that is the beauty of the Muslim communities in terms of our contribution to the society here. We live in Swansea. And then the support we have from the mainstream, such as we have Geraint with us, we have the university, Kevin Child, we had Mandy, we have so many people supporting us, and that is the beauty. I don't think we have the strength and the culture we have here in Swansea in many different communities. So mashallah, this is the beauty we need to continue. And the credit goes to you in such a difficult circumstances where people are unable to meet. You provided such a safer opportunities and a platform for us to come together, meet, and then kind of see people and say good words. So from my side, from my family side, Eid Mubarak, kul am antum bikhair. And I'm very much looking forward to see you all, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair. So nice. I mean, as you well know, he provided really support to this community. When I first came to Swansea and attended the University Mosque, Brother Riyadh was one of the people who, I see him always working the background, but without, claiming any credit. And Eid in the Park and so many other things, sort of he was the really motivation behind it. So he really is a pillar of our society and our community. Jazakallah khair jaza. I'm going to invite the next person who will appear on my screen is Professor Mo'il Samarai, all the way from Pembrokeshire, from West of Wales. And Professor Mo'il has very kindly provided us with so many good reminders. And as I said, they are all recorded. And he is really also invited so many of his very learned professors and doctors to give us reminders during this difficult time. Professor Mo'il.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I really don't have much to say. I wanted to say Eid Mubarak, and I wish you all very flourishing and happy days. Unfortunately, it is just the lockdown, but it is in many ways quite gratifying to see how the Muslims are treated here, and how the ability for them to communicate and exchange wishes and regards. And inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us all the strength and support to continue this journey. I apologize because I had to connect and disconnect quite a few times when phone calls keep coming to me. So I kept going in and out of the Zoom because of that. Yes, and inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make all the circumstances better and improved. Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah khair. And the good news about Professor Mo'il, and it's maybe just a rumor, but it is a very welcomed rumor in that he may be moving into Swansea in the not too distant future. I hope that would come to fruition, because we'd all be very happy to see him more regularly in person rather than through virtual communication.
I'm sure this rumor has been spread by Abu Hisham, but unfortunately, it's not going to happen in a very near future. Really, I'm hoping to do that, but because of the circumstances of the school for the children, I still have to remain in my place in Ramadan, at least for the next year, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. I welcome back Prophet Sheikh Muhsin from his Fajr prayer. So once again, Sheikh, I mean, I've said that before and I'm saying it now. Thank you very much for all the support you've given us, even so many thousand miles away. And we are so grateful to you. So, Sheikh Muhsin.
Jazakallah khair, Allah barakallah fik. I haven't done anything. I just enjoy your company, and I enjoy your celebration with you. And you are all, greatly missed. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unite us very soon, inshallah. Allahumma ameen. I'm very happy to see all of you and Professor Mo'il Izzuddin. It's really nice to see you again.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Muhsin. Barakallah feek.
Okay, well, I think I'll go and visit some of those who have not really said anything. Brother Mahbub, if you are there, I could see your banners, but I'm not really sure whether you're there or not. So if you're there, if you'd like to unmute yourself and say a few words. Well, probably he's not. He's probably joining more than one meeting at the same time. Okay, well, anybody else wants to say anything now? I think the good news is that we passed over 60 families joining it at one stage, but as I understand, so many of you are dropping off to go and have breakfast, and that's very understandable. But if anyone of you wants to say anything, please feel free to unmute yourself and say whatever you want to say. I'll give you the next 5 or so minutes because we have to close. The ladies only, which will not be recorded, will start at 11:30, and inshallah Bassam would be hosting that. Dina may be joining her if she finishes her outpatient clinic. So if any of you want to say anything, please feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the last word for Geraint. Geraint, do you want to say anything else?
Only that this has been a fantastic occasion considering the constraints we're operating in. And I thank you, Saad. I wish everyone Eid Mubarak. These are very, very difficult times. I hope we all see each other and have a wonderful day. And as I say, it's great to see Sheikh Muslim from afar. It just shows how we can come together as a community from across the world, across Swansea, and be together and share our stories and our joys and our needs. And I know the communities work very hard for those with least. And I'm very appreciative and proud of this community in Swansea, which is a great symbol for the rest of Britain and beyond on how we can all work together, community of communities, for a stronger future. So I wish you all joy and happiness today and solidarity for the future. And thank you for the opportunity to speak with you on such a lovely day.
Jazakallah khair. I think that's all what I've got to say, unless somebody wants to say anything. If not, I wish you all Eid Mubarak, Happy Eid, and wish you all to be safe in your home, in your workplace, wherever you may be. And inshallah, this so far will be recorded and you will be able to access it to remind yourself when you feel a bit down. And we'll hope to see you again in future reminders. Just to remind you, at 11:30 it will be ladies only and will be meet and greet then. Jazakumullah khair. Jazakumullah khair, Sheikh Muhsin, and thank you very much, Geraint. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak, Habibi Abdul Rahman.
السلام عليكم.
Salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
أعانكم الله.
Salam. Idris, nice to see you, Abu Bakr. You look proper Sudanese today.
No, alhamdulillah. Sudanese.
Very nice to see you with the traditional clothes, wallah.
Inshallah. When you come back, I'll see you soon, inshallah.
Inshallah. Idris is half Moroccan, you know.
Yeah, it's half Moroccan, Idris, huh?
You are half Moroccan, yes. Now you are proper one. Looks like. Thank you. And Qutayba, mashallah, looking younger, mashallah. Qutayba always looking younger, mashallah.
Well, it's one thing about Zoom, Sheikh Muhsin, is also very deceptive in terms of looks. Never mind. It's for Qutayba, it's worked in his favor. In mine, it doesn't.
بارك الله فيك دكتور سعد.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.